Hey everyone, as you can see, we are on our way. We are moving today. Moving the processor first thing this morning. Moving the processor to Washington where the buncher is, the last video that I did. We cleaned up the last job in Cushing, back that way. And we are headed over to Washington now, which is a little more inland. And we're going to try to get that job started. So it took a little bit longer to get Cushing cleaned up. Don't mind the nice hairdo I got going on this morning. So we're going to head over there. So we're in some fall weather right now, and I think we've been kind of spoiled the last couple years. We've had pretty dry falls, or last year it froze up pretty early, and this year does not appear to be that way so far. It seems like it is going to be wet and warm, which is not good. Not a good combination, because nothing will dry, and unless you have a combination of good ground and good access, it's going to be tough. So fortunately enough for us, it's not bulletproof, but we have decent access. It's in an old rock, I don't know if you wouldn't call it a quarry, but rock pit. They dig big flat rocks out of it for people's landscaping, steps, patios, etc. So the road's not too bad, and we're starting on that piece because the lady wants some money, and the rock pit's pretty much played out. So not necessarily that we want to go make a mess, but it's a little less sensitive than some other jobs, which is good. And then there's an abutting landowner that has better wood and a better chance. The ground's better, so hopefully we can work around the weather. And this time of year, a lot of times, all you can hope to do is make enough production and generate enough cash flow so that you're not using up reserves in your checking account. And sometimes it's nearly impossible to do that, but it is much better to go into winter not broke. So, which I've been there. Not I shouldn't say broke, but not as much money as you'd like, because then you're spending the winter trying to catch up and get enough money to make it through mud season. So, anyways, I'm glad we left that last job when we did. The yard was getting sloppy, so the last couple of cleanup loads we did is not ideal. Mud in the road, just not what you want to be advertising for the woods business. So, farmers and dirt guys can do that, but if we do it, then we're making a mess, you're wrecking everything. I don't know why that is, but it is what it is. So now we're on to the challenges of fall. And the only plus with having a little more lag time in between jobs than I would like is that I've had three or so pretty much full days in the buncher to lay wood down on the next job. So getting there, I've got plenty of wood down so I can start processing, and that way I don't have to flip back and forth between the buncher and the processor. And this is another one of those jobs, at least on the first piece, that without the buncher it would have been miserable, because the wood is not that great. And we'll see how it goes. It's wet, kind of ground. It's kind of like there might be. Seems like most places it's hard packed clay underneath, so it gets sloppy on top and it holds water. But, and again, I've mentioned this before in other videos, but the buncher, as you can see, it's raining. We're getting more rain today. I spent more time, I think if you looked at the buncher as far as efficiency and wear and burning fuel, you wouldn't want to necessarily be doing a ton of tracking. You're burning more fuel, it's not quite as productive, but in those wet areas, I spent a lot more time carrying and getting as much wood onto the trails as I can. And I'll try to do a video of that too, but basically by spending that extra time tracking and getting all that extra wood on those trails should give me such a layer of brush that the forwarder should have no issues, and it'll actually provide a nice carpet of flotation on those trails. It will look good. We'll cut the brush up so that it's contained within the trails, and it'll allow us to work when you probably wouldn't be able to work with just a processor, because the processor cannot gather that much wood to process on one trail. It just, I mean, you could with mine because it's got a fixed head, but again, mine, you can't accumulate trees, you can't multifunction, so I could do it with my processor because I have a fixed head. But a lot of these other machines with dangle heads, you can't. You can cut what you can reach, but unless there's a lot of wood, a lot of volume, stems per acre, you just won't be able to get that much brush there. And kind of, you know, having that much wood on the trails in the brush, it can be more of a pain because you've got to deal with the brush when you're processing. But you can use the harvester more to spread the brush out the way you want it to fill in spots. And what I mean by that is when you run equipment as much as I have, or anybody that's worked in the woods as much as I have, as you're going along, you can kind of tell the spots they're going to need a little more attention than others. And you can put more or less where you need it. So, you know, that's my plan. Of course, it's the woods business, so a lot of times plans just don't work out the way you want them to, but I think this is as good a plan as you can have. And if need be, not on the first piece, on the lady who owns the rock quarry, but on the next piece, if I have to, and I don't really want to, I will take the buncher in the rock pit, and it's grown up in a lot of places, and I will bunch brush. And you know, it's not small brush, it's stuff, you know, big enough. And I'll have, and if that's what I have to do to get the main trail armored enough so that we can have the flotation we need to keep working, that's what we'll do. There's a point when you're doing way too much and it's costing you too much money. You can't do that on the whole job, and you can't do it on every trail. But if you had to do it to get the main trail armored, that, you know, that's okay within reason. So it's, and some of this stuff changes along the way, but I think maybe I'm wrong, but I think as a contractor and a logger, I think if you're not always thinking of how you can overcome an obstacle, it's going to be difficult to gain the consistency in production, which equals cash flow. So I think every contractor in their own way is trying to figure that out. It's just, you know, is what you're thinking going to work or not. So anyways, this is kind of I haven't done a video this week, and I think I only did one last week. So this is kind of a ride and talk, or blab a little bit about what's going on right now and some of the things or challenges that come with fall, kind of the second mud season, and how you kind of have to think to even attempt to overcome some of those things. So that's always a stressful issue with this truck. Is an idiot. That truck right there, he's driving a truck and has no sense that the low bed is swinging wide to come around. Some people are just stupid. What a moron. There goes my processor. I can't believe people that have no sense. Anyways, that gets me aggravated. It's just people who are in such a rush, can't see. He's got his blinker on, and he's tractor trailer getting over because he needs to swing wide. Oh well. So anyways, this is kind of a video about a lot of different little things, mostly about the challenges of logging in the fall, which is kind of like a second mud season. So a little bit of the ways that we try to overcome that. So anyways, like, subscribe, comment, and we'll catch you later.